Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Charlene Reeves here as your host on Ask the Expert. And all of our experts on this show are from the Authors and Speakers Visibility Playground. We have a lot of fun there, and there's a lot of heavy hitters who, of course, are authors and speakers. And, you know, we have so many people that come in and support us as well. It's really phenomenal, the people that we interact with, because it's all a part-based community. And we also have these fabulous guests on the show, which is really wonderful. So our guest today is so interesting. I've known her for many years, and I love what she does, because she can take a space and shift the energy in that space so that you have more abundance, you have better relationships, you have definitely a better income. She did that exact thing with my office. And I had my desk facing out to the sea, because that's what my door looks at, is the Sea of Cortez. And she said, no, you can't have your desk going that direction. We have to move all of this around. And so the two of us moved everything in my office around together, and it made a huge difference in my life. And I'm going to come back and tell you more about that. And we're going to have my guest, Dot Claire, on the show. She's so much fun to be around. So I will see you in just a moment. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I am Dr. Charlene Reeves, your host on the Ask the Expert show. And we do this every Friday. So let's bring our guest on right away. She has such great things to tell you, and I can't wait till she talks to you about the story that your house is telling. Dot Claire, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're with me today.
I am so delighted to be here and just really feel honored to be on this show with you and be able to have our chat together today.
You know, this is really fun. And you and I were talking a little earlier about what it means when you walk in somebody's house, the story that it tells. Would you like to embellish on that?
Well, what I always say is that our door is like the cover of a book. And the door seems intriguing and guides you, and just kind of feels kind of exciting to step up to the door. You know, it gives a curiosity, but well, what does this person look like? And it has an energy. And then there are places where you can't even find the door, or it's blocked by a tree or a big bush. And that says something about the person too, because I believe Feng Shui is about the psychology of home and living environment.
Wow, that's awesome. You know, I know of a senior retirement community where they have doors that go like down the stairs, and it's all dark by their front door. So what could be the consequences in the Feng Shui belief for what that kind of door could bring to a person?
Well, the challenge with that is when we walk in the door, it's like spirit is entering into our home. And if we end up bumping into a wall, it pushes us back out. Or if there's a stairway, it drains our energy. It's like money flowing down instead of flowing up. And so I had a client that had a home like that, and their business started going down the hole. And it was very interesting because their energy swooped right through the house, out the back door, and out the back windows. Mm-hmm. And that we want to contain our energy, like the breath of life, inside the space, not rushing out.
Now, Dot, you've been an author, and you're a registered nurse also, and a speaker, and you're actually a Feng Shui specialist. And what I love is that you're also a modern day medicine woman. So, would you tell us, when it comes to the different things that you are able to do, what is your favorite thing to do for people?
Oh, I really like feng shui. I love to play with space. Let's put it that way. And I call it sometimes fun and play with feng shui. And so it excites me because we are ever changing. And how many times, I did it for years myself. How many times do we live in a home and we find a place for the couch and we find a place for the TV and we never move anything? And it stays the same way for 10 years. Well, that's kind of stagnant energy. So the ability to be able to shift space depending upon where we are and our intention and where we are going towards, really makes a difference in terms of making an adjustment in our space.
Yes. Okay. So when you walk into a home, you talked about the front door, but what about an office? Talk to us about an office, because we have a lot of people that are in business that watch this show, and I'm sure they'd like to hear more about that.
Well, again, every door into a room is like the breath of life coming into that space. And if we have something that blocks the door, it's going to push somebody out. So if you look at it like a client, can a client get into the room? Is there clutter all over the place and boxes? Do they have to walk around them to get in? So it is really, how inviting is the space for people to come in and be part of your life.
Okay, beautiful. Now, I was telling the story at the top of the show about how you moved my desk around so that it was no longer facing a window and looking at the sea. Maybe you might want to talk to people about the difference in their desk placement and what that means in their home.
Well, there is a power position, a place where you feel in charge. And that is where the desk needs to go. And everybody's room is set up differently. So I can't tell you exactly where that would be because it's based on individual spaces. So okay, let me give you an example. I had a client whose desk was kind of hidden in a corner of the room, and you really couldn't see it. And it had it facing a certain way that blocked you from seeing and working. And she had a lot of clutter besides. Well, we removed all the clutter and we turned the desk a certain way so that she could be a little bit more seen. And what happened is energetically, it felt more open and receptive. And so sometimes as an entrepreneur, we often, when I look at their spaces, it's like, well, you really aren't in business yet, are you? But, we're hidden. So we're hidden in a corner. That means, well, we are the best kept secret in the world.
Yes. Yes. No confidence, right? No confidence
right.
in that person. Yeah. So is there a thing about having to see a door or something like that? I know that you can't have your back to a door. And that was my problem with the room, the way mine was set up, was when I was looking out the window, my back was to the door.
Well, it wasn't even just that, Charlene. It was really the fact that all your energy was going outdoors, and it was having a hard time staying in. So, you'd rather play or be out with the water or, be in meditation.
That was
or
all
whatever
true.
Yeah.
All true.
Being in your business.
Uh-huh.
And so that's energetically, because everything is about energy and vibration. And if our eye immediately goes out and it's outside, it's going to be really hard to be sitting at our desk and doing our work.
And it was very hard. I wanted to be on the beach all the time. But now it's different.
Well, it definitely feels different after we made the change. Definitely felt different. And what I noticed with clients, a lot of times they're a little resistant to making the changes. And you were very receptive. And so, we immediately got into it and we moved things around. But many clients say, well, there's only one way that I can arrange this room. And that's not true.
Mm.
But we look at possibilities, and we look at ways in which we can correct some of the challenges with how our space is set up, because not all
Okay.
rooms are perfect.
Yes. All right. So go back to the door situation and whether you're supposed to be facing a door or does that matter? Tell us about that.
It is important to be able to see the door, but not be in alignment with the door. So to be able to see the door, you're more likely in the power position, because feng shui is about safety. And so, for instance, if I have my back to the door, somebody could come up to me and scare me.
Mm.
And so the safety issue is about that. And so we want to be in a more in harmony with the elements of the earth, as well as in harmony with the elements of our rooms in our home.
Okay. So you're talking about the 5 elements. Is that right? Of the earth?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Did you want to define those for the audience?
Well, fire is one of them. We need fire for fame and to be known and seen and how we are in our community. But we have fire, water, air, and all
Now,
of a
why do
sudden,
we need, why water? Why water? What does water do?
well, feng shui is based on wind and water. That's what it means.
Okay.
Wind and
Uh-huh.
water, the balance between wind and water. So originally when feng shui started, it was really about finding the perfect location for those who had died, our ancestors, because ancestors were really elevated to a position of power and appreciation. And so they would look for a piece of land where it wasn't at the top of the mountain, because if the wind comes, it could knock it over. And at the bottom, if the water is rushing, we would be flooded. And so it was like right in the middle, with the mountain behind protecting us and the water right in front of us. And so so when I talk about spirit entering our home, that's the wind. And our hallways are the water or the blood or the life force of our space. And so we liken it to the human being. And and so that's how it also gets combined with, the psychology of feng shui.
Yeah.
It is looking at all the aspects of one's life, laying it out on your space, and then reading your space accordingly with a map, a blueprint, I
Nice.
call it.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
Awesome.
that way you have a sense of, where the wealth area is in every room, and where it is in the home, and where it is in your lot. And if you have, I'd like to tell a story about the last house that I had, and it was back in Indiana. And when I bought that house, I loved the flow of energy, but I knew nothing about feng shui. And it just had a light, airy feel about it. Well, shortly after I was moved into the house, my clientele, and I really didn't know why until I had my classes and was trained in feng shui. And what I learned is that I had a whole extra room of wealth in that home. And so looking at our space according to how it's laid out, an L-shaped house versus a U-shaped house and a rectangular shaped house, all have a different energy flow.
Now, is feng shui very similar to Asian belief? I mean, is that how they buy a house based on feng shui? Is that what they're always thinking about?
Well, many are and many aren't, because it got a bad rap. And part of it is that sometimes the Asian version is really focused on the fear of not doing it right. And the teacher that I had is a Western teacher, and he blended the ancient Asian feng shui, Chinese feng shui, with the Western world. And his is more intuitive. And yes, we use the map, but we use a combination of many different things to look at our space.
So
And
when
so
you say, I'm sorry, go ahead.
that's okay.
Oh, okay. So when you're talking about the psychology of a home, what does that mean in the world of feng shui?
Well, it's really understanding that our home, our environment, any room in the house has a vibration. And our desire is to lift that vibration so it can be um, positive, a positive source for us and who we are and what we desire in life.
Hmm.
And so that vibration, for instance, I've talked about um, everything having an energy flow.
Mhm.
Well, like essential oils, because they are plant based, that vibration is much higher than a human being. It starts at 65 and goes to 350. The same with our home vibration. Even the couch has a vibration. I
Hmm.
had a client that recently said that she had been at a meeting with a number of people, and one of the gals that was sitting on the couch had a really low vibration, and it's like she left it there. And my
I
friend
walked away.
yeah, right. She had to do a clearing to help the space be lifted up and energetically raise its vibration.
Wow.
So most of us don't see the living, breathing thing. Like, what did we have? Pet rocks a long time ago. And I used to say, what? You're telling me a rock has a vibration? It must be very slow, but it does. It has its own vibration. So the same would be with all of our belongings. For instance, I walked into somebody's house and right almost at the front door, you have a block of a couch. So that vibration again pushes you out, just like that wall before pushed you out. And there are ways that you can um, do solutions that help to shift that energy, that are unseen energy solutions. I call them mystical.
Amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. And I know sometimes you use drums and sometimes you use sage. I mean, what determines what you're going to use to support you?
Well, because I'm the medicine woman, I have a drum. I recently am using my crystal bowl more than I am my drum. But the drum in actuality helps me break up energy, that unseen energy. It helps me break it up. And so I could use it with the bell. I could use a number of other different instruments, but you want to break up the energy that no longer serves you, to lift the energy of the room, and you send it back out into the universe and you invite a new energy to come in. And so
Mm.
the one big place that people often don't even think about is our beds. Our beds hold our energy. And if we have negative thoughts and or worries or fear, when we go to bed at night, it stays there. It's like a couple who's going through a divorce in a
Hmm.
home. That energy penetrates that home and it lingers. And unless somebody comes and clears it out, it's going to be there for the next tenant. And sometimes you have a history of everybody that moved into one particular home ends up in a divorce.
Or
And they
apartment.
wonder, or an
Apartment would
apartment.
be
Yeah.
like that. Yeah,
Mhm.
because that just
Yeah.
constantly is churning.
Yeah. One of
Yeah.
one of my clients bought a new house, and there was one room that she could not go into. And she called me and said, I don't know why I can't go in that room. I wanted it to be my main bedroom, but I just can't even go in there. And we did a clearing ceremony with her. And the next day she was able to go into the room. And what had happened is the woman had passed away in that
Oh,
room.
wow. Oh, no
And
wonder.
so
Yeah.
yeah. So there are many times when we really want to look at, the clearing of the energy as well as rearranging things. But the clearing, would be in when you're in the middle of a transition or divorce or move. There are just a number, or somebody died. Those would be all transition periods in one's life, and it's really important to consider doing a clearing.
So I wonder if I know you have a course about doing this kind of thing. Do you have Do you do bonuses where you give people an opportunity to talk to you, or how do people reach out to you if they want to get their place cleared?
Oh, well, they can certainly reach out to my website, .clear.com. And I have information on the website about the space clearing as well as feng shuiing your home.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm really open to speak with anybody that is interested. And I'm very willing to give a 30-minute free consultation.
Okay. So that way people could tell you maybe what the challenge is that they're having with their house. Like you said, maybe somebody doesn't ever go in a room and they don't know why. These are things you wouldn't even think of how to resolve that problem, or until it's addressed, you wouldn't even think it is a problem, right?
Well, and usually I find out the story of people's lives. So I do an
Mhm.
assessment about them. I'm not even talking about their house, in the beginning. So it's really finding out from them, what things are working and what things aren't.
Mhm.
And then making my assessment when I look at the home to see how it's supported. And then being willing to make some adjustments that would shift the energy. And it's the intention of the person is very important. And
Now,
the willingness to take action.
okay, excellent. All right. And if we take action, then we should see a shift in how long?
Well, I suggest that we have a clearing that we learn how to do, that it becomes a kind of a practice after you've had a session, that it
Mhm.
becomes a practice that you would do it at least quarterly,
Okay.
because every season we are changing. And, feng shui is based on nature, the elements of the earth and the seasons. And so looking at our life as ever changing versus always remaining the same. And opening ourselves to, like, we have fall coming up soon. And so open ourselves up to, what is fall energy and how do we say goodbye to summer energy?
Hmm. So, Dot, when somebody wants to clear their home, is that going to take months, or does that just how long does that take?
Well, it depends upon whether you're talking at a deeper level of energetically clearing their home, or you're talking about doing the clutter clearing. And I
Hmm.
work with both because it's really important to get rid of stuff that is overly abundant in one space, so that they're open to receiving something new. And part of it is it's part of the letting go process. So many of us really struggle with letting go of what we might call our treasures, or just letting go of anything. Like I know so many people that their books are their children, and asking them to part with books is like, oh no, you're going to make me part with something new, and helping them to see, well, looking at different ways that they can look at their book collection and see if there is a willingness to release some of the past so that they can be open to something new in the future.
Yes, I have something funny to tell you. Would you like to hear it?
I'd love to.
Well, my father passed a couple of years ago, and my stepmom is trying to clean out the house because she's ready to move to be with her daughter. And she looked up in one closet, and the closets were high, and then there's this storage on the top of the closets. This house was phenomenal when it came to storage. And she just looked in there, and there's National Geographics every month of every year since 1950.
Mhm.
And she has a hard time letting go of things, and these weren't even hers, they were my dad's. And so now she went through them, and she says, I'm doing pretty well. I only have 3 years left that I am keeping.
Well, I can so relate, Charlene, because when my dad passed away, I had to get rid of his things, and he had the same. All these
Uh-huh.
National Geographics, and he had daily papers, the New York Times, and I had to. I mean, we just kept throwing things into the garage because he had duplicates of just about everything. If I had some of those things today, it might have been nice, but at the time, it was like, what in the world are we going to do with these things? And the house wasn't cluttered. What
Uh-huh.
you found in the closets. You know.
Yes. Yes. Well, I don't think anybody looked in that closet for I don't know how many years, maybe 10 years, something like that. And
Mhm.
she was just shocked to find all those in there because then she's kind of a pack rat like my dad. And she admits it openly. And so she was having a hard time getting rid of these National Geographics. I said, that was really mean of him, wasn't it, to leave you to have to get rid of everything?
Yeah, that's true. Well, you don't think about those things when you're a collector.
Yes, I know. I know. Well, Dot, I've had such a good time with you on the show today. Just give us a parting thought for what somebody could do today to make a difference in their lives with Feng Shui.
Hmm. Well, first off, if you're wanting change in your life, I would really encourage you to write down what your intention would be. What is it that you want to manifest? What is your dream? And then do a little ceremony with that, however you might do it. It may be lighting a candle. It may be, just writing it down or placing
Yes.
something in your space that would remind you of what you wrote. And then start clearing your closet.
That horrible closet thing.
Yeah. And start downsizing your closet.
Yes,
That's where we
absolutely.
hide. We can hide a lot in our closet, and I don't mean just things. It's kind of like, well, what's hidden in our closet could be symbolic of what's hidden in our life.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can imagine what that might be. Well, Dot, thank you so much for being on the show today. I look forward to seeing you out in the field. And I know you're just doing such wonderful, wonderful things. And so you're going to want to go see Dot's website at dotclaire.com. And she has an E on the end of Claire. I had it up there for you just a second ago. Let me see if I can find it for you again. It is right here. Okay. And just reach out to her. If you want to start cleaning your closet, she might be the perfect guide for you to get that done. So thanks so much, Dot.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So everybody, thank you for being with us today. This has been a lot of fun and I learned a lot. I hope you learned a lot too. And I will see you next Friday. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. And take care. I just really hope you'll take care of yourself and those around you. Be conscientious and be well.